Welcome back to One Winning Pod, where we're wrapping up the season with a discussion about the vignettes for the year. It's kind of become a tradition over the last couple of years where we kind of think about each player, this group of men that are together for this 2024 season, and kind of acknowledge them and what we remember fondly about the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex, this is a cool idea you came up with a couple years back, and I like it. I think it's been a nice little look back over the year. You've always brought up a good point that every year is different. You know, there's going to be multiple guys, right? There's going to be multiple guys who were important to this team who just aren't going to be back next year, and maybe there'll be a guy like a Brent Urban or Michael Pearson. They'll come back, but more than likely they won't. And it's a nice little look back in remembrance of this whole team that brought us, a lot of highs and lows and a distraction from life throughout this past yeyear.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, unless you're the Chiefs, I guess, 31 teams are going to lose, right? They're not going to win it all. So, it doesn't mean that you should forget about all the other players on, good players on other teams and, a special group of guys to bring a lot of us a lot of joy on Sundays. So, I think it's a great idea. I'm looking forward to it.
Sweet. Well, go Birds. As Ravens fans, I feel obligated to say that. And Chris, we talked about it before the show, like, what order should we do? And we're going to lean back to the cap. People maybe not remember this, but we were Ravens recap originally. And the notion of the idea was because CAP, Chris Alec Peter, in cap. That's why it's always been, all caps when we use the word recap in titles and things of that nature. So we'll start off with Chris and just go round robin. Yeah,
I'll start out with Zach Orr. The defense grew with you over the course of the season and looked like the unit we expected after the bye, leading in number one or, top three, top five in many categories after week 11. Learning from Dean Pease this year and now Chuck Pagano next year. We just found that out. We're confident you'll be a great coach in this league for years to come.
Tom Munkin, in year 2 of your system, you likely architected another MVP season for Lamar Jackson. While the continuity created expectations for the offense to take another step, you more than delivered. Can't wait to see what year 3 is like.
Coach John Harbaugh, you led a locker room that seemingly had some of the most adversity ever between the safeties underperforming and the Deontay Johnson saga to an AFC North title. One of the most feared teams in the league may not have hoisted the Lombardi Trophy this year, but achieved great heights that set a foundation for next season.
How to follow that? Rashad Bateman. After signing your contract extension, you were able to reach the potential we all knew you had in you. You answered the call and became a force, particularly in the red zone, especially down the stretch.
Mark Andrews, despite starting this season at less than 100% physically and seeing the least amount of targets in a season since your rookie year, you led the league in tight end touchdowns and were an unselfish leader throughout the whole season.
Justice Hill. You continued grinding and doing all of the overlooked things at a high level while also becoming a true playmaker in the offense.
Isaiah Likely. You continued bringing swag and playmaking ability to this offense.
Nelson Aguilar. While this year lacked as many big plays and big moments as the 2023 campaign, you still were able to deliver big moments, extended drives, and put points on the board this year.
Tylan Wallace. After preseason of hype from this podcast, you became the best run-blocking wide receiver while also having huge clutch plays in several games and stepping in when others went down with injury.
Charlie Kolar, you survived a Derrick Henry to the forearm. Baller. You also had the, in your own words, wide open fat guy catch and run in Cincinnati, which was epic.
Legendary. Oh, man. Keem Mitchell, you made it back from injury late last season and looked explosive in limited snaps at the end of the season. Keep grinding for next year.
Rasheen Ali, while your rookie year was full of nagging injuries, we hope you have a clean bill of health this offseason and the ability to compete for a role on the team next year.
Devontae Walker. That CD against the Giants, though. What footwork. Sheesh. Toe tap Tez.
Anthony Miller, you seized the opportunity and delivered quality receptions for the team down the stretch.
Deontay Johnson, You had that catch against Cincinnati.
Josh Johnson. Every time you came in this year, there was a round of applause. Great job closing out games for MV3.
Riley Stanley, you proved the doubters wrong with a throwback year. Hope to see you back next season.
Pat McCary, you continue to be a jack-of-all-trades football player. Wherever you're needed, you step up and put in your best.
Andrew Voorhees, you worked your butt off to return from injury and grab the starting left guard role out of training camp. You filled in well for McCary at the end of the season. That gives us hope you can earn the starting job again next year.
Ben Cleveland, how did that work out? I was always excited to see you on the field, even if it was less than I hoped for coming into the season. Wishing you the best next year, wherever it may be.
Josh Jones, you became a major part of the offense down the stretch as the sixth offensive lineman.
I don't know how this worked out either. Daniel Fa'alele, you completed your first year as starter and showed great growth and even received a first-team All-Pro vote.
Roger Rosengarten, my boy, you had a phenomenal rookie year after a slow start and earned the respect of top pass rushers in the AFC North.
Steve Sims, you did the Flowers motion plays, including a 15-yard rush when Zay was out for the playoff games.
Moving over to special teams. Justin Tucker, you battled through arguably the toughest stretch in your career to still deliver clutch kicks when sorely needed, including the overtime forcer in Cincinnati, and converted all of your kicks post the bye week.
Jordan Stout, your role expanded this year with some kickoff duties.
Nick Moore, you got the ball to Stout in 1.3 seconds very consistently.
Can't lie with that data. Moving on to the defense. Brandon Stevens, you battled all year against some incredible guys on the outside.
Nate Wiggins, you show you can be a dog at the NFL level and provide a tight man coverage all season long with 2 mouth guards.
Travis Jones, when you went down with injury during the middle of the year, people noticed. You and Nnamdi dominated the interior and made the pass rush go. The defense wasn't the same without you. Can't wait to see you take another step next year.
Trenton Simpson, you made some incredibly athletic plays during the season, highlighted by an incredible pass deflection of Mahomes to give the Ravens a chance in Week 1.
Kyle Van Noy, you continue to make off the couch you proud. Career high in sacks and a 4th place finish in the league in sacks. Wow.
Odafe Owe, you grinded to the first double-digit sack year of your career and became a more consistent pass-rushing force.
My guy, Ardarius Washington, you enjoyed a breakout season, providing excellent safety play when the team needed someone to step up, making several highlight plays in the process.
Marcus Williams, you recovered a fumble when Dallas was driving in the red zone to help secure the first win of the season.
Sanusi Kane, you had some standout plays on special teams this year.
Chris Ford, you played critical snaps on defense and special teams, earning a team captain nomination by the end of the season.
Malik Harrison, you stepped up big late this season, thrust into more snaps at the will. We got to see your physicality and tackling ability.
Tavius Robinson, you followed up your surprising rookie season with another solid campaign, continuing some to keep regarding you as the new Jarrett Johnson.
David Ojabo, you provided some improved pass rush down the stretch.
Michael Pierce, that INT was the greatest play of all time. The D-line is way better when you're healthy, King.
To follow that, Brent Urban, the other half of the fun bunch, you ate up some early down snaps and brought good vibes to the sideline.
Broderick Washington, you stepped up when Travis Jones went down, posting 2 sacks against Pennsylvania teams.
Tre'Davious White, you helped provide sorely needed depth at the position and converted multiple critical pass breakups down the stretch.
Desmond King, you had a big punt return in the home Pittsburgh game that helped jumpstart the Ravens' big victory.
Christian Welch, you started when Roquan was out and made special teams contributions throughout the year.
Bo Braid, you earned a spot on the 53-man roster when you were on the bubble during training camp and were a special teams contributor and defensive depth piece.
All right, we're finishing off with the Pro Bowl players. Derrick Henry, you exceeded all expectations this season, unlocking a new level of offense firepower with Lamar. Countless iconic runs and game takeovers later, We're happy you're now on our side of the battle.
Nice. Zay Flowers. In your second year, you reached 1,000 yards in your first Pro Bowl. Though your injury was untimely, causing you to miss the playoffs, you helped us win the AFC North one jitterbug play at a time.
Patrick Ricard. Another full year of pancakes, leading for Henry's historic season.
Tyler Linderbaum. You had a stellar year 3. So many key blocks in the run and pass game. Love seeing number 64 running down the field to lay the wood on the guys.
Kyle Hamilton. You further establish yourself as the young star of this defense, providing exceptional play close to the line of scrimmage, at deep safety, and wherever else the coaches lined you up.
Namdi Matabike, you brought leadership and intensity to the D-line this season, upping your game to a new level in December and January.
Marlon Humphrey, you stepped up and provided leadership when the defense needed it through your words and your play, and turned in one of the best seasons of your career.
Roquan Smith, you brought intensity from the first snap to the last snap and got better as the season progressed and the players around you started to gel.
Lamar Jackson, MV3. Each year you find a way to get even better, which is hard to imagine. Your leadership took another jump this year, and the narrative about you not being able to come back from behind was squashed. It always surprises me how fast we can get through a whole team. That's a lot of players.
Yeah, well, I think especially, when we're making it so, quick and precise, right? Some of these guys, we could spend a whole, 10 minutes talking about what they did this year.
Yeah. And we did, throughout the year, throughout all the years of One Winning Pod, we broke down all these players. And this is kind of where we're saying we'll see you around. So this is going to be the last episode of One Winning Pod. And yeah, definitely emotional time, but we talked about it. We wanted to go out on top. We wanted to go out with Super Bowl, man, but just wasn't in the cards, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's we'll see. Maybe it's next year. Maybe we need to close down the pod for it to happen. Joking there, no correlation.
That's a good trade,
obviously. It's fun though, man. Yeah, it's crazy. We started this out. What was it? March 2019, I want to say. And man, the three of us were all in such different places than we are right now. How time has passed.
Yeah, I think there's a picture of us with the textbooks and stuff with the microphones. We were all at that time we recorded a couple episodes in person, I guess, before we started doing it remotely, just to get the groove down, so to speak, and Peter's spare bedroom or whatever it is.
Not a spare bedroom anymore.
No, I know.
I was going to say your current location, right?
Oh no, not this one. It's a different room.
Not this room. Okay.
No. But yeah, it's crazy. We all have dogs now. We all have kids. It's not quite as much time to to squeeze in this pod week in and week out.
Yeah, you guys know something we talked about going into this season was basically, hey, are we gonna still continue to do this? And we said, hey, we'll give it a try. We'll change up the logistics a little bit. We'll try to combine episodes and try to make it a little bit easy on the recording and be a little bit more flexible in when we recorded. And we did give it a shot. We saw how it went this season. Obviously I had to miss a couple of recordings. I know Peter missed a couple. Alec, you may have missed one or two. So, this is something, it's bittersweet. It's something that we, maybe didn't really want to do, but it feels like a right time. Like you said, Peter, we're in different places now, and it's becoming really hard. And and I think one of the things we also talked about too is just that this is it's a lot to put this stuff together, right? We want to make sure that we're doing the best we can to try and prepare for these shows and give you guys some good insight into the Ravens. We appreciate everyone who's listened over the years and just gave us words of encouragement and really helped us to kind of continue doing this. But it just felt like a time where it was really hard for us to give the right preparation to do some of this, frankly. So, I think I'm speaking for all of us here. I think we appreciate everyone who's listened, everyone who's hung around over the years. Thank you. And
Yeah, it's like it's hard to know like how to end. Like I'm going to download the whole feed to archive it, but also like to then count like how many minutes of this, like how many, and like that doesn't even count like the show after the show, right? Like we always joked like it was kind of a group therapy session for us. We'd always chat to one another and keep up because we're all friends first, and I think that's one of the best things about the show. I think is I told Chris like coming into this week, I was like, do you realize we've been doing like something creative together for half our life now, right? Like it started in 2012, I think was the first time we did something like the prog rock block, and then there might have been like a year or two break in between. Then we had One Winning Pod, and like it's like 13 years of my life, which is not half, but a lot of it, And it's kind of it's kind of wild to say. And then like all the other friends we made along the way. I remember when we went to the what was a Baltimore event or whatever it was called at that time. We saw Ken McCusick, who's kind of become a friend of the show. I know we all hung out with him in one way or the other outside of the thing. Jason from Hollywood Films, another great friend of the show. And then like I always say this, which is kind of weird, but like I feel like the coolest thing we did was the St. Jude campaign this year, right? And we donated over $1,000 to St. Jude, which I thought was like such a cool thing to accomplish, and like the little podcast that could, So it's just it's it's super duper bittersweet, and like I think kind of like Chris said, it's the amount of work it takes to do a show like this to the quality that like would earn your time and attention. It's just tough to do at this stage in our lives, and we don't want to like do anything lackluster for you guys. So definitely appreciate it, and feel free to reach out. We've told you so many times how to find us, and these ways will still work. But of course, onewinningpod@gmail.com. Reach out to us if you ever heard about this Discord that we talk about and you want to be a part of it. Let us know. We can send you the invite link. But yeah, we'll that's another thing I think will be a nice little cherished relic of the show is the little Discord community we have. It's kind of how I get a lot of my Ravens news sometimes these days, and have good discussions in there, and it's like the show within the show. So feel free to join us in there and talk ball there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Every end is another beginning. And I think that you guys touched on some of it, through this podcast. It hasn't just been, us creating this and sending it out to people. It's been a lot of, making new friendships within the fan community, and, making it, doing events and, meeting up with people at the games. Obviously gone to a ton of games with you guys. We've bumped into people from, who we've met through the podcast at the Ravens games and other Ravens events. So, I see that continuing. We're obviously still big time in the flock. We're still going to the games. We're going to be even bigger. We're still the same fans we're ever being, just not, doing it in this venue. So, I think that's the biggest, the second biggest thing. Obviously, the number one thing has been, spending time with you guys every week, chatting up the Ravens. But it's also just been great to see how this podcast has been able to, entrench us even deeper into the flock and meet some other great fans who have great insights to the team or great people. And that'll obviously, continue those, those friendships we've made, with you guys in the flock, and just continue to be fans, man. And hopefully, sometime soon, hopefully next year, we're all celebrating a Super Bowl again together. Cause I mean, Lamar's too good, man.
If
Lamar's too good.
We're so close. We're so close. Lamar's too good. Team's too good.
If all it takes, man, is us doing a show and then be like, the show's now over again. We'll do it every year, man. We'll be back. Oh man. I will I'll get a big laugh if that turns out to be the case. But hey, I think Super Bowl 60 has a nice ring to it. LX, very fun. So I don't know where it is, but let's make it happen. Let's get there. Anything else, guys?
I think that sums it up well.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Hate to say goodbye, but maybe it's a talk to you later. We'll see you around. But just reiterate, thank you everybody over the years for listening to us, hanging out, chatting with us, talking about the Ravens. We really appreciate it, and yeah, we'll talk soon, I guess.
Yeah, that's all, folks, right?
That's all.
But no, as always, you can reach out to us at OneWinningPod, OneWinningPod@gmail.com. And the website's not going anywhere. I have this thing about keeping domains into perpetuity. Although the progress block is like broken in a way, and I would like to fix it, but I spent too many hours trying to fix it, and I'm like, I don't know how to fix this now. I might have to like literally like recreate it or something. But anyways, that's a future Alec problem. But yeah, signing off for now. One Way Pod. We'll catch you all later. Love you all. Thanks so much. And go Ravens! How do we not end this with Go Ravens? We gotta end it with Go Ravens. All together now. Come on.
Go Ravens.
Yeah, I'll make it all work. It's all good.
The last edit.
Oh my God.